unmuted, we humbly request you to mute them and also stop video sharing. Yes. I can see Alan, your video is on and your microphone is on. Just mute them and stop the video. Then also Kisha, yours the same. Eric, you just say hi to us and mute your microphone. Then Kisha, also you stop microphone. You stop your video. That we should do. Okay. Yona, yeah, we have heard from you. Now, thank you guys for joining. And first of all, I would love to apologize for last week. We're supposed to have our lesson, but due to uncertainties that come in, I was unable to be with you guys. In the group, I saw how others were excited about it. I saw how others felt sorry about it, but good, we have made it this time round. And once again, behind the camera, behind the voice you are hearing is Muhindo Joshua, and I'm your art instructor from Yaaka Digital Network, whereby we are here to offer you online classes. I will think you've seen me, and just let me wave hi to you. That is enough. Then, yes, so welcome to this, and I really say this should be interactive and let us all participate. In case I call you out to share with us something, just feel free to do so. Are we together? Yes, I can see Yona, Shania, and Keisha, Ivan. We have Queen Elizabeth. We have Alan, and all of you guys who are on the call. You are most welcome. Then more to that is that as I was trying to prepare for this lesson, my laptop somehow got a problem and I was unable to finish up my preparation, but that will not stop us having this lesson. So wherever you are, we are going to go through art, and hopefully you have your pens and pencils and your drawing books around you. But more to it, I want your attention to be on the call, okay? Don't switch on the call, then go outside, so that when time comes for me calling you out, then we can't hear you. Then don't just be looking at what you're doing, but also in case you have something to say, just unmute your microphone, raise up your hand, and we shall come to give you an opportunity to speak. More to that, I welcome you to this lesson. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm using my phone just because my laptop has got an issue, and I not yet transferred the slides, but I will just use the notes on our website, that is Yaaka Digital Network, yaaka.cc, and that's where you access all the content we teach you here. And this content is designed in the Ugandan curriculum, and this is near to, so just be ready. Okay. Yes, so okay. And here we go. Just I'm loading into my account. So this is my account, and briefly our content we are going to study today will be coming. So let us be patient, wait for it. And yeah, so So members, just let us all be patient as I log into to show you the work we are going to go through today. So let's be patient as we wait for how it is. So once again, we are all on the call, and just be patient. I will be showing you the content we are going to discuss, but in brief, we are going to be doing drawing, and basically we are going to look at the techniques that are involved in the different shading techniques. And this is what we cover in Senior 2. So some of you already know them because you have been doing art since Senior 1, and they are going to be very, very easy for us to understand. Again, remember I say that let us all try to participate. I'm trying to get the content on my screen so that I can share again. Sorry for that. I thought I had prepared it, but unfortunately, it had not yet come on the screen. Yes. For a meanwhile, yeah, let's keep on being patient. And yeah, just getting there. Yes. Okay, so let me share again screen, and let me just get back here. Yes, and I think we can see this. So what I'm requesting all of us, basically today we're going to go through, this is Senior 2, and we are basically looking through drawing, and here today we are going to look at shading techniques. Members, as I said, I want us to be participating in this, and just from what you are seeing, I want you to share with me what you know about this. Okay? So just go to you those who are on the call. I can see Queen Elizabeth. What are you seeing on your screen? Can you please read to us? Yes. Guys, I want to hear from you. Yeah, Queen, she has sent us a text that she is looking at shading techniques. And more to this, what do we know about shading techniques? Yes. Anyone to say something about it? Ivan, you're on the call. What do you have to say about these shading techniques? Okay, we have Kisha, Namaganda. What do you have to say about shading techniques? Yes, more from Queen Elizabeth. She says that what matters is the way you hold a pencil. Wow, thank you so much for that in the chat. And I'm really glad. And okay, you are saying what matters a pencil. And I do not understand your last message, but thank you for your contribution towards this. And all of us who are on the call, please, I request you to be part of this. I believe we have something to say and we have something to share out. More to this is that I'm going to briefly take you through them and what makes them different, in addition to what Queen Elizabeth has said. So let us be part and let's continue doing what? Let me go back to my screen and so shading techniques, and we said shading is basically showing change from light to dark or dark to light in a picture by adding areas that would be shadowed and leaving areas, another area lighter. Shading is often used to produce illusions of dimension and depth. And basically, with illusion and dimension, we tend to discuss the 3D concepts. Okay, the 3D concept. When you shading allows us to do what? To express the roundness or the form of an object we are drawing or a specimen. And basically shading is the part that makes a drawing to go from a flat contour drawing to a three-dimensional illusion. And when I say a flat, I mean basically shading makes your work makes your work to be seen as a real image. The way you shade will create that three-dimensional feel. We may see it's just okay. There is space in between the objects. There is form. There is roundness. There is light effect. There is a body, and there is an inner mass in the composition they have drawn. So below are the common shading techniques used in drawing. We are going to use spheres while experimenting with shading techniques. And as I said, guys, that at the beginning of this lesson is those of you who have your drawing books, I will request you to get them out and a pencil. So as we are going to be discussing one by one of these shading techniques, I will request you to also be trying out them, and more to the work we have done. I'll be glad to receive it in the chat in our group with your name on it, so that we can clearly identify the one who has done the work. So the first one I will say is hatching. And basically all about hatching, as you can see in this on your screen, is that this is the most common shading technique, and it consists of a series of lines that go in one general direction. You can use it to shade just about anything. So hatching is basically the use of line and moving in one direction. I like what Queen Elizabeth said, that it's all about how you use the pencil to achieve the texture, or to achieve the tones on the drawing. And we have said hatching is the simplest, whereby you use lines, and in areas where we have dark tones you use a lot of lines, but in areas where we have light tones we use very spaced lines and very few thin, not that strong kind of lines. So that is basically all about cross hatch. That is all about hatching. And what is more with it is that you use lines that go in one direction, general direction. For example, if you choose to go left, all your lines will go left. If you choose to go right, all your lines will go right. That's how it is about it. And as I've said, in dark areas, you use dark tones, dark lines, and in the areas that are affected by light, you use lighter tones. Then more to this, the next one is cross hatching. So cross hatching is where you overlap lines at various angles. So basically cross hatching, as you can see, it is just an addition to hatching. You start with hatching, which goes one direction, but again, cross hatching, you also go the opposite direction of the tones. As you can see below, that in dark areas in the images of the under cross hatching, is that we are seeing here, like in a, as you can see here, that in cross hatching, here you see that it goes like lines are going in one direction with hatching, but now cross hatching, you combine two types of hatching, the opposite direction and the opposite direction. So if you decided to go right in the first phase, this time round try to cross cut the hatching that you created first. And basically more to this is that we see in the statement that cross hatching is where you overlap lines at various angles to shade light areas, lighten your lines and space them further apart. In shadowed areas, that means the dark areas, the areas that are not affected by light, darken them and bring them closer together. That's great for drawing fabric like burlap, textured, wrinkled skin, and whatever else you can think of that displays such a pattern. Yes, that is all about with the cross hatching. And these types of shading, these shading techniques are used for different purposes. Actually, in some scenarios, you can use 2 to 3 of them depending on what you are drawing. And they have told us in this that they can be used to express out texture in a drawing, also to show the skin, to show to show the pattern of the fabric and also the quality of the surface you are drawing, that is texture. And more to that, we have scribbling. Scribbling is really good, and I say, what I can say is that as you see here, scribbling is all about creating artworks, placing your pencil on a surface, and you just create random movements considering the effect of light on the object. In other words, in areas where we have dark tones, you continually place random motion of your pencil until you achieve the dark tone you want, and towards the light areas, you go on placing it in a scattered form to show that light is not too much there. So you can see that here, with the help of this circle, the artist used pencil and he placed them compactly in the dark areas. But in the other area, you can see that we don't have many of them. You can even see the paper. And with this scribbling technique is that you don't have to sketch clear lines of the circle as we saw in the first two, whereby we have cross hatching and hatching. And the artworks created out of this they are really good. And more to that, this can be used to create texture on an object. So you can draw the object you are drawing. It may be a rug, or you are trying to depict, for let me say, texture of let me say texture of what? Of a texture of a tree, okay? A log. So scribbling, you can use it to express that out. Even sometimes when you're trying to depict hair on a human face, you can use scribbling technique. That is, so let me just read what it talks about here. Also knowing as scribbling is a fun way of it's a fun way to shade a drawing, and it goes fast. It basically involves placing your drawing tool on your sketch and make random movement according to the effect of light. In dark areas of your composition, you make many and strong scribbles. In light areas, you create few scattered and lighter scribbles. So basically, that's what I can say about it. And basically, as you can see, that scribbling is fun. Okay, it does not aim on having accurate line. Even the one viewing your work will understand, okay, this is scribbling, and the reason the artist used this is because of the texture, or just to have fun in expressing or drawing the object they were drawing. More to that is a blending. It's another shading technique that is often used. And indeed, Queen Elizabeth, you summarized the lesson by saying that it's all about how the artist or someone uses the pencil. So if you use it in the blending format, more blending is all about creating smooth effect on the object you're drawing, okay? And blending in this, I wrote that smooth gradation of values are produced either by adjusting the amount of pressure, okay? The amount of pressure applied to the medium, or by using a blending tool, such as a blending tab. And well, I think by now we should all be knowing that what we mean by medium. Basically, medium, let me just briefly go through it, is that medium is the tool you are using. For example, a pencil is a tool, but also it is a medium because it part of it is a wooden piece, but the real material that will appear on your work is the medium. So a pen is a medium, and the ink is the real medium. You get me? The tool, the plastic part of the pen is just something to cover and protect the ink. So medium is the material you use to draw, and it appears on your artwork. By just saying, I will say, okay, this person here used a pencil or a black pen to create this scribbling effects. By default, I would say, okay, I won't say that he used a wooden piece with he used the rubber, he used the, I won't say that, but I'll just be saying that he used a pencil because I can see the pencil on the work, but I cannot see a rubber in the work. Okay, he may have used it, but it is not seen in the work. More to that, as you can see that, okay, just in this here, you see that for him to achieve this point here, he may have used a pencil after critically shading his work, but again, it is not seen. Are you together? The rubber is not seen. So basically that is it, and more to that, it depends also the tool and the pressure you apply on the paper when you are using the medium you have used, let me say a pencil. So just considering that we should have gradual transitioning of tones and values from dark to light. And here we use smooth. In other words, they are really compacted. We don't have lines in it. We just see transitioning of tone. Okay, and that is the common part of shading technique that is used by us who are beginning. But after this lesson, I want you to create artworks that are out of these different techniques. Try to combine them, try to use them as one, and try to see which material in terms of pencil or pen that can you fit or be good for which shading technique. Then the other one that I'm going to discuss is the dotting, or others call it stripling shading technique. And basically in this, you see that it is the use of dots to create tonal variations. Okay, the artist, or you as an artist, or the one creating the artwork, you basically use dots to show the transitioning of tones, to show us the effect of, to show us the roundness of the object. And as you can see here is that all in relation to what we have discussing is that you have to consider the direction of light and draw in relation to that. More to this here in the dotting, and you can use blending and dotting depending on the object you are drawing. For example, if I'm drawing an orange, I can use blending as my shading technique, but more I also add in dotting to create the texture of the orange as you see it. For you have already seen some oranges, you have come across them and you know how they look like. So I can also use scribbling, but again I also put in dotting. It just depends on the texture. And again, Queen, you said that how the artist plays around with the pencil to achieve the shading of an object. That is very key. Then more to this, let me read. This is all about using dots to create shades on a drawing, to create variation of tones in this technique. Dark dots are placed in the shadow areas of the drawing, and lighter dots are placed in areas that are receiving or are close to the light source. You can use different sizes of dots to make different sizes. You can use different sizes of markers to make different sizes of dots when you are using the dotting technique of shading. Yes, this can be good with markers. If you're using a marker, this technique will really make it come out very well. Then more to this, I will say that we have another one, and that is the contour shading. So with the contour shading, as you can see that we all know contours is just the movement of lines in a direction, and the lines that follow the curve of an object. So here in contour drawing, we basically see that the lines will move in relation to the roundness of the object. It's similar, it is close to the hatching, the first one we looked at, but basically with the first one we looked at is that all of them just go straight. But here in a contour drawing is that you tend to move them in relation to the nature of what you are drawing. For example, if you are to draw an let me say a ball, as you can see here with this sphere, is that you move, you see here, they are showing us some lines, some arrows that show us how these are moving. Then here is a finished piece of work that was done out of using contour shading. Again, I told you that some object you will be drawing will determine the shading technique and the shading technique you are to use. In some, you may use 3 or 2 of them, and in some areas, you may use 1 of them. Okay? Yeah, but also in some circumstance, you can just decide to use 1 particular. And more as we continue with these lessons, I will be extending again some of the works that have been created using specific shading techniques, and I'll also be excited to get some of your works you have created. More to this, we have the patterns or the tangles and patterns. Basically, this one is more of expressing out your idea. And in this, sorry, I did not read the content in the contour line, in the contour shading technique, but let me briefly go through it. This shading technique is similar to hatching and cross hatching. The difference is that lines are curved to follow the contours of the subject. So these lines can be drawn horizontally, vertically, and even diagonally. The idea is to have the lines flow the shape of what you are drawing. I like that. I like the last one is that the idea of this shading technique is to have the lines flow the shape of what you are drawing, as I explained before, and that's how it is. Now, the more is this tangles and patterns is basically, as I've said, it is a modern way of shading that the artist, the one who invented it, was just trying to use different patterns to create tones and shading, to create the tonal variation on an object, as you can see here. So here it says, you can also use any pattern you would like for shading, including the tangle type pattern. Just evaluate how dark a pattern will be and fill the area corresponding to the shading, to the shade with your rectangle pattern. Yeah, so basically that is some of them, and I highly recommend you guys to try out all of them. For those who have subscribed to Yaaka Digital Network, you have access to this lesson on our page, on our website, and in case you want to read more, you will have them there. Then there is a video in that on our page that talks about that introduces us to these shading techniques. So I won't play it in this, but for those who have subscribed, you will have access to it. Then there is an assignment that I created, and there it is. Hopefully it will open up. But besides that, that's what I wanted to explain. The floor is now open to you guys to tell me and share out something on what we have discussed today. Yes, I was unable to check through the chats, but let me open them and see what you guys have been saying. Okay, so shading techniques, really what? Yes, what about you? Nada, you offer art, hello. CIT, Ethan, but you are in the lesson, yeah. Okay, so this was outside there. The last one says, teacher, please play it. I would love to play it, but I'll just share the link to it in the group so that we can play it, because it is another YouTube channel that if you record with this, it may affect how this will be played on YouTube. So thank you for that. And more to that, I want to hear what you have to say. And the floor is yours. Please try out something. And if you have something to say, just raise up your hand. I will be giving you an opportunity to share something. Okay, so yes, there's no one who has something to say. I think I may now choose randomly, and please be willing to participate. We have Josephine on the call. Can you unmute your microphone and say something about what we have been discussing, what was interesting to you, what you have ever done, and what you see you are going to try out? Okay. We have no response from there. Okay, Vincent, you're on the call. We would love to hear from you. Just share out something you have learned and something it's of interest they are going to really try out before extending the assignment we are going to do. Yes, Kisha, you have your hand is up, but before that, let me hear from Okello. Okello, go first.
Master, I came late.
Oh, sorry about it. But where did you finish? Okay, let us first hear from Kisha, then we shall go to Josephine. Yes?
I found to try it out.
You are doing what?
I found the scribbling technique interesting and I'm going to try it out.
Oh, wow. Yes. Thank you. That is really good. Okay, so you scribbling technique is you are going to try it out. Yes, and indeed it is really interesting because it's a freestyle. Okay, you just create random movement of lines, and where you see you have to create dark tones, you just emphasize them, and where you have light tones, you somehow reduce the lines you create and how you space them out. Thank you so much. Your hand, you can put your hand down, and let us hear from Josephine. Yes, Josephine.
Yes, sir. I found that hatching is interesting for me.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Wow, that's really good. Thank you so much, Josephine. And yes, hatching also. Basically, what I can tell you is that all these are really good. You get me? And they are, so whatever you try out, really of interest. Yes. We have a chat. We have someone who has sent it. Okay, so Queen Elizabeth, you have extended in your question in the chat. You are asking which pencil makes it perfect. Exactly, it is very good. First of all, blending is good for pencil, but hatching and cross hatching and scribbling and the other techniques of shading, you can use even a pen or a marker. So with a pencil, I recommend to try out if you have an art pencil, it's good. If you don't have an art pencil, you use the sketching pencil you have, but an art pencil will come out good. And also you can do an experiment with pen. So you first sketch out your composition that you are going to draw using a paper or a pencil. Then you create the shading technique with the material you want, either a pen or a pencil, depending on what you're doing. But I've said blending is good for pencil. And also hatching and cross hatching, they are good for pencil and also pen. Then dot is good for markers. If you have a marker, you can try out, and it is really interesting when you have a lot of colors in terms of markers. You create dots of pink, you create dots of blue, you create dots of black, you create dots of green, and it tends to bring it an excitement in your work. More, we have someone who extended in the chat. Easy, but I really enjoyed hatching. Okay. Tola visa. Okay. Yeah, so that is some of the chats coming in. Anyone else who has something to say? For our brother Okello who came in late, we are going to make a small review, but I have Ivan on the call, and I would love to hear from you. Then Alan, you'll go next. Then whoever is joining in as Infinix Hot 10 Light, will also go next. Ivan, if you can unmute your microphone, just go ahead and share with us something that was interesting in the shading techniques I shared. Okay, yeah, so Josephine, you are saying you also came in late. Okay, just let me make a quick review. And the assignment we are going to have, let me just first read out the assignment, then I will make the quick review on the shading techniques I explained. The assignment we are going to have is basically, we are going to compose. Yeah, just get a cup and a flask, or let me not limit you, just get a still life drawing composition from your home. You can decide to draw a a cup, you can decide to draw a flask, you can decide to draw a brush, you can decide to draw a bottle. Just do what you want, then try it out using the technique of your choice. You can even try to draw fruits, okay, to depict the different types of them that can be used in a specific drawing. So I won't limit you. I'm just excited and waiting to see what you will draw. And I'll also be forwarding in mine. Then we shall see how we can go about it. Then let me share again. And the reason why I'm sharing is that I want to give out a quick review of what those people may have missed. And yes, basically, okay, so we are here on the yeah, just is coming. Okay, shading techniques, and I'm saying this is I'm reading from our website, and so this notes is on our website. Just for those who have not subscribed, you may have access to this, but those who have subscribed, they're accessing this. So we're having the shading techniques, and I said the first one is hatching, whereby you use lines that are moving in one direction. The second one is cross hatching, where you make them move in two different directions and they cross each other, which is also from hatching. The cross hatching is where you overlap lines at various angles to shade light areas, lighten your lines and space them further apart. In shadows, you create more of them. Then that is the second one. Then scribbling is whereby you just is a fun way of to shade a drawing and it goes fast. It basically involves placing your drawing tool on your sketch and make random movement according to the effect of light. Members, the term effect of light is very key because it will give you direction on where the dark areas are and the light tones are. Then the fourth one was blending, and I said this is the most common one we use since we started senior one. We have often used this, and I say it is also good. So it's all about shading gradual values, gradual tones, smooth, okay? And it can be used when you're drawing smooth objects. Then more to that, we have the dotting technique of shading, and whereby we said we just develop dots in relation to the objects we are drawing. And more to that, we had the contour shading. And we said this one basically is close, similar to hatching, but to hatching and cross hatching, but the difference is with it is that lines move in relation to the object you are drawing. So if the object you're drawing is in a circle form, you will try to see, as you can see on this on your screen, that we are having this. You see, they're showing us how here you see the direction of how your lines will move. That is different with hatching. Hatching, they just go in one direction, but here they go in relation to the object you are drawing. So if the object is round, they will go round. If the object is flat, they will go flat. If the object is zigzag, they will go zigzag, and more to that. Then the last one we are discussing was the zentangle and patterns. Zenangles and patterns, whereby you just create simple patterns to act as tones. Okay, as you can see in this drawing, is that okay? The background, he just used zigzag form of way. Then also the dark tone, he just created black and white spots. Then in the mid grays, he just created some boxes. Then the lighter tones, he just created lighter. We just created lighter circles in pencil, but then the highlights he created them with just small dots. Okay, so these are, you just basically look through patterns as, okay, these ones will represent the dark tones, this one will represent the middle grays, this one will represent the shadows, and this one will represent the highlights. So basically that is a quick summary of our lesson today. And as I've said, I'm going to share the link to this video so that you can try, you can check and see how these artists use them differently. The assignment is, I've given you that I won't limit you, just try out anything, but it can be good if you first experiment with these circles, as you can see in this. Thank you so much, and I'll stop sharing, and let me check in the chat if there is anything. Okay, what is the meaning of lapping lines? Okay, Josephine, basically what we mean by lapping is you cross-lining them. Lapping is like one line passes this direction, but the another one goes, we just apply another line on another.
Which direction?
Pardon?
Which direction, sir? Like crossing each other?
In a different direction. So if the first one was going right, then the lapping line should go left. Are we together? Yes, that is it. And someone else has, when you have said thank you for the lesson, and I'm really glad for your participation, all of you. Laura, you just joined in. Trisha, Maria Trisha, you just joined in. And Emma, you just joined in. Actually, you missed. But I love you all, and I'm excited.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see what you will create. And yes, Kesha, you have something to say?
Excuse me, sir. How
Yes.
do I subscribe to the Yaaka account?
Okay, I will be extending in also that in the group. I will let you know about it. I will also send videos good enough the management is on and give us more.
This one is locally, these two was together.
Someone has said thank you for repeating. Yes, yeah, it's my privilege. I never wanted anyone to miss out. And so let us end this call.
I didn't understand some of the words. Like which work now? Rectangles.
Okay, rectangles are basically.
The
Okay.
patterns.
Okay, thank you for that.
Understand rectangles and patterns.
Okay, thank you guys for that.
Real.
Okay. Let me, you mute yourself, then I explain briefly.
Okay.
Yes, basically rectangle is just a word. This technique by the one who did it. And he derived his name from the name of that technique just from there. The word, the triangles, the patterns he uses, a repetition of them. Teacher, I think we should do the lesson again next time, because someone has sent in that text, because most of us knew the lesson was at 5. Oh, sorry, we changed the communication, and sorry about it. But again, I will be offering, for those who have missed it out, we are going to have this the link shared to you in WhatsApp, because the class was being recorded live, and you have not missed anything. You are going to enjoy it, and I love you so much, guys. And then see you tomorrow. See you next time. Which group? In our Senior 2 group. Don't miss out on that. That's where the link was from, and yes, Senior 2 online group. That is true. Yaaka. That's where I've got to send it. And thank you, guys. I wish you a good evening and a good weekend. I'm excited to receive your works, and I will be glad to share them again and have this lesson. Thank you. Have a good time.